Well, hello, I'm State Representative Norma Smith. I represent the 10th Legislative District. Before I begin my comments today, I wanted to introduce you to someone really special, and that is Kelsey Duffield. She is paging with me this week here in Olympia, and I wanted her to just tell us, first of all, if you can let us know where you're from, Kelsey.
I'm from Burlington. It's north of here.
Terrific. And what kind of convinced you that you wanted to be a page?
I came here with my class to Olympia, to the Capitol, and I knew about the PAGE program, so I sent in my application, and I just got lucky and got selected.
That's terrific. And I thought it would be very interesting for people to know what's something really significant you've learned this week.
When you go to PAGE school, you learn about how to write a bill and different types of government and pages really learn a lot about the government that most people don't know. And so, yeah, just learning about how to write a bill and what the bills mean, so now I can understand it when I hear them talking.
That's awesome. Well, Kelsey, I just wanted to say thank you for coming. Thank you for serving. Would encourage any of you who have other students, how would you tell them to get involved?
Go to the Washington State Legislature website, and then you can choose if you want to go to the House of Representatives or the Senate, and then just click on that, or either link, and then there's a link for paging, and you just mail in the application.
Well, Kelsey, thanks so much for joining us, and thanks for your service to the legislature.
No problem.
Well, I want to thank each of you as well for trusting me to represent you and your family in Olympia. I'm honored to work with you on the issues that are important to our communities. I can assure you I'm working my hardest to be a strong advocate for the 10th District. The legislature is now working through the final 2 weeks of the 2009 legislative session. There's a lot of work left to be done and still many challenges ahead, the biggest of which will be the state operating budget. You know, this is a serious issue, a pattern of overspending by the majority party in Olympia to the tune of 33% in terms of the increase in state spending in 4 years, compared with our national economic situation, has us now facing what is projected to be an almost $9 billion budget deficit. It's crucial that as we look forward, we learn from the past. We find creative solutions to the issues that affect the 10th District and the state of Washington. My Republican colleagues and I were told early on in the legislative session that finding solutions to this unprecedented budget deficit would be a bipartisan effort. But unfortunately, that's not been the case. A different approach has been taken. This budget is being written by very few people in the majority party, unfortunately locking many Democrats and Republicans out of the budget writing process. I'll continue to do my part in advocating for those priorities that I see as being essential to the state of Washington, our well-being, and our economic recovery. Basic and higher education, public safety, protecting our most vulnerable, and providing for basic infrastructure are the core areas we must protect in this difficult budget year. I've introduced and co-sponsored and supported policies and legislation this year that aim to protect these priorities and minimize the impact to essential services. It's important that we achieve these protections without raising your taxes. Many families, businesses, and individuals are struggling to make it in this difficult economy. And asking for more tax dollars is something I cannot and will not support. Taking more money out of your pockets only serves to hurt our economic growth and recovery in Washington State. It's time to get back to our fundamental priorities of government and tighten our belts, just like so many of you are doing. Last week, the House passed the state transportation budget. This first budget is just the beginning of the discussions that will need to occur between now and final passage this session. I really appreciated the effort that was made in regards to ferry construction, but the broader transportation package fails to deliver the best value for the taxpayers of Washington State at this time. It leaves ferry construction unfunded after 2015, which is a great concern to many of my colleagues and myself. Our caucus brought forward a reasonable proposal that offered more than $1 billion of savings on the Seattle Viaduct project. This would have freed up money for other statewide projects, including ferries, and for promises made when voters approved the gas tax package. There were 16 years of projects that were promised in that package, But as it stands now, many of those projects have fallen off the list. After 2015, the transportation budget, as proposed, will go into a deficit. I assure you, I will continue to advocate for solutions that meet the state's needs and keep promises made. Also last week, I wanted to tell you about an independent report you may have heard about on aerospace that was issued regarding the competitiveness of Washington State in recruiting and retaining employers and the good paying jobs they create. You know, it's a joy for me when I drive off the ferry through Everett and see Boeing and think of the impact that they have had in this state for decades, putting people to work in extraordinary jobs and career paths. We are seeing early warning signs from Boeing and other critical aerospace industries that the high cost of doing business in Washington State has them looking elsewhere in other states that offer a more competitive business environment. If the decision was made to leave our state, they would take thousands of viable jobs with them. We have to address the concerns of employers and employees in this state. The report we heard last week said this, and this is a quote: "While Washington offers many advantages to aerospace companies, its disadvantages outweigh the advantages in attracting and retaining aerospace companies relative to other states." The report specifically mentioned Washington's expensive unemployment insurance system as one of those advantages. This issue impacts all businesses in Washington State. We must address the critical barriers to attract and retain employers who create and provide good jobs in Washington, and we must address it soon. Senate Bill 5963 was an agreed upon bill that created a balance, the balance needed in the unemployment insurance system. The original bill would have gone a long way in correcting what the report said is absolutely necessary. Unfortunately, the House majority added amendments that raise the UI rates on business, expand UI in the area of those who voluntarily acquit their jobs, and significantly changes the language agreed upon by all of the parties during the negotiations. I have to tell you, it was really disappointing that the majority in the House made a decision to literally pull the rug out from under a carefully negotiated agreement to help both the unemployed in this state and employers trying to keep their doors open, to retain employees and create new jobs during these difficult economic times. I'm grateful for my Democrat colleagues who joined House Republicans to take a stand, to do the right thing and to help employees and employers. The vote was close, but unfortunately we did not prevail. I can only hope that the Senate and the governor will do the right thing and keep the promise that was made. I don't believe the intent of the bill was to push businesses away from the state, but it's a very real consequence. It's time we stop putting ourselves at a competitive disadvantage and stay true to the commitments we've made to employers and employees of Washington State. And for those who might want to come here and start businesses, the latest numbers I've seen indicate that unemployment is at 9.1% in Island County, 9.7% in Snohomish, 10.8% in Skagit. Now, more than ever, we need a business climate that retains good-paying jobs in Washington and rolls out the welcome mat to new industries that will create the employment opportunities today and for future generations. I'll continue to work to ensure that we have a government that is responsive and responsible to citizens, to employers, to employees. As always, I welcome your thoughts, your comments. Hearing from you helps me to be a more effective representative for the 10th District. My Olympia office is always available to assist you with your questions and concern. We can help you navigate state agencies. My contact information will be listed at the end of this program.